Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Light,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off.
Hi, happy Monday. I am so excited to be here with you. Today we are living on the edge, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that means for various people, depending on where you're at in the world and what you believe and what you've been focused on. I am here to support and to elevate, and we're going to have a really high vibrational conversation. And before I was tuning in, I had a whole other topic in mind for today. And as always, I sit here and I tune in and I plug into spirit and I connect and I listen from the highest level. Hi, Catherine. And I said, okay, what would you have me speak about? And I just sat in stillness for a moment. And all of a sudden, I start hearing the Aerosmith song, Living on the Edge, right? And I was like, whoa, we're living on the edge. We're totally living on the edge. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to share? Hi, Jennifer. And this whole thing of living on the edge. And then all of a sudden, the whole conversation kind of unfolded in my head. And I said, okay, that's great. That's perfect. Let's talk about that. So let me know in the comments if you're here with me live. Hi, Alicia. Let me know how you're feeling. I'm just going to adjust the camera there. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how everything is flowing and moving and shaking in your world. And I'm going to dive on in. But I love to engage. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Holiday Monday. Exactly. And you know, I was thinking about this too, Happy Family Day. And I was like, every day is Family Day in our world, especially if you have kiddos, you know, like every day is Family Day. Hi, Denise. Nice to see you. All right. So let's talk about living on the edge. So I don't know about you, but in the last, I'd say week, maybe even 5 days, 5-6 days. Hi, Josephine. I've been feeling this like really buzzy energy. Anybody else been feeling that? Like really buzzy energy, as if I'm like sitting on the edge, waiting on the edge, living on the edge of this like excitement train, this excitement vibe. And I have no idea what for, right? You know, like we've been pretty grounded here. It's beautiful. I'm going to post some pictures of the view right now. Like it's exceptional here today. I had to actually back up from the window because it's so bright and sunny. It's beautiful. And I've been living on the edge of this feeling of like excitement, like something's about ready to pop. Something's ready to in a joyful way, something's about to like burst through. Hi, Heather. And so I've been feeling this buzz and almost like these waves, and I don't get anxiety, okay? Like I don't, that's not something that I experience regularly. Hi, Mindy. And yet I've been feeling these waves of like, ooh, something's happening. Something's coming. I'm living on the edge. I'm just waiting. I feel like I'm waiting, right? And even at night, like when I get ready to go to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I can feel my body starting to wind down. And then all of a sudden the energy is ramping right up at like midnight, 1 a.m., energy ramping right up and all this excitement energy. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And now what, right? Like now I'm not going to be able to sleep. And this is what's been happening the last few nights, like all this big, big energy. And so as I tune into this energy today with you here live, hi, Alexandra, hi, Amanda. And as I tune into, you know, the energy of what I was being dropped down today, living on the edge, I want to talk to this from a couple different angles. So for those of you that know really what's been going on the planet, especially over the last 3 years, you've been watching, you've been seeing, you've been awake and aware as to what's really been going on the planet. I feel like many of us are living on the edge. We're literally sitting on the edge, like waiting for something positive to burst through, which there's a lot of really positive things that are happening. You just have to know where to look. But I think we've been waiting for something to take shape in a different way. For those of you that have been creating heaven on earth, like really actively, consciously creating, we've been sitting here and we're kind of like, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my family. Like we're here and we're creating consciously in our bubbles. I've talked to a lot of friends about this in the last couple of weeks. A lot of people saying, I've been feeling like I'm living in my own bubble. Like I'm okay in my own bubble. I'm creating the life that I love and I'm feeling great and I'm feeling happy and healthy and just, you know, living in my zone and feeling awesome. And yet when I look out there in the general, you know, world sense, it still feels like things are a little crazy. Things are a little, you know, tumultuous. And I'm like, yeah, it does. And I think we're waiting for that outside world to match and mirror what we've created on our inside, right? And our inside world and our inside framework, we're waiting for the two to come together now. And I feel like for me, especially, that's the biggest piece that I feel like I've been waiting, not waiting for. Those of you in Thrive 365, you know what I'm talking about when I say waiting, not waiting. But I feel like I've been in this space of like, we're creating heaven on earth. We're experiencing a bliss bubble. It's amazing. We're having fun. Yes, there's days where things are challenging, but you move through the challenges and everything's like awesome and radiant and beautiful, and things are coming together and things are manifesting so quickly. And then you step out into the greater world, right? Or you tiptoe out for a moment. You're like, ee, there's still some crazy stuff going on. Or you flip on the news for a moment. You're like, ee, because I don't watch the news anymore, but you flip on the news for a moment or you see that, like, you're like, ee, something crazy is still happening out there. There's a lot of crazy stuff still happening out there. And I think we're waiting, we're on the edge, living on the edge of wanting that external framework to shift and come into alignment with what we know in our heart and our being as the heaven on earth experience, the soul on earth experience that we all inherently and intuitively know, right? Hi, Dawn. And then I want to speak to maybe for those of you that are creating whatever it is in your world, right? Like we're actively, consciously creating, or maybe we're manifesting, we've got goals, we've got intentions, and it's like living on the edge, like just waiting, like when's this thing going to happen already? When's this thing going to pop? When's this thing going to manifest? When's this going to come to fruition, right? Like when's it going to happen already? It's kind of like the oracle cards, right? My Divine Wisdom oracle cards. So they were supposed to be here in November. And we did a pre-launch, right, in September. And I let everybody know, hey, this is pre-launch before they get here. It helps with the shipment because it was like a $17,000 investment to like bring the cards, print 1,000 decks and get them here, right? Which is a huge, a larger undertaking, right? And so I'm so grateful for everybody who did pre-purchase. And yet we've been waiting, not waiting, right? Waiting for the cards to arrive. And then I get the messages like, they're being shipped this week. Yay! And then all of a sudden, no, sorry, China closed down. They're being shipped next week. Yay! No, things closed down again. Oh, man. And then month by month by month by month. And then last week I got the message, they're like, they're being put on a plane on Thursday. I'm like, yay! And then I'm still waiting, right? It's like this feeling. And I checked in today and they're like, no, they arrived on Sunday, like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. They arrived on Sunday. They're at Pearson Toronto National Airport, which is like, yay, and yet still I'm sitting here in that waiting, not waiting. So if ever, and I share that as an example because what do you do in those moments? I was sharing this with our Thrive 365 community because we're deep in manifestation mode, okay? So we just went through last week reclaiming our power. And that's really what I want to talk to you about. And this is how you start to surpass the energy of feeling like I'm sitting on the edge, like I'm waiting for the world to change. I'm waiting for my manifestations to come. I'm waiting for Divine Wisdom Oracle cards to show up. I'm waiting for the next step. I'm waiting for whatever it is, ready to pop, ready to grow, ready to lift, ready for, whatever it is you're waiting for. Whenever you feel like, oh gosh, I'm just on the edge. Like humanity is just on the edge. We're right there. Like we're right there. And I think that's when the excitement comes. Okay. Because when we're right there, there's this feeling out of nowhere. It's not like anything's really, things have changed internally. Things are changing internally every day. Hi, Dan. And at the same time, when you look out there in the world, you're like, has anything changed? And then you're like, okay, well, I'll just come back to my bubble. And then you peek out again, you go, has anything changed? And then you come back into your bubble, right? And I feel like many of us have been doing that, especially if you've been aware of what's been going on the planet in the last couple of years, the last 3 years especially. Hi, Tamara. There's been so much change. There's been so much evolution. There's been so much growth. There's been so much awakening. And I feel like when we get to this point, when we get to the edge and we're like right there, we're like, like something's about to happen, right? You can feel it. Intuitively, you feel it. You feel this buzz. You feel this energy running through you. Now, that's a really great sign. That is a really great sign because it means that something is about to expand, explode, come to fruition. Something is about to vibrantly right? As Tamara's like, your vibrant soul is so energizing. Thank you so much. And so I feel like that's what we're in right now. So for those of you that feel like you've been kind of holding still or you've been in this holding pattern or you're like, gosh, I'm waiting for the world to kind of like catch up with what I've been creating internally. Or I feel like I'm waiting for these Divine Wisdom cards to show up, right? Or I'm waiting for my manifestations to arrive and knock at the door. I'm here, I'm ready, I'm available, I'm ready. Like I'm so ready. I want you to start to tap into the energy of excitement, because the excitement is kind of like the last push. It's like when you're birthing a baby, right? It's that last push. It's that last energy that we need sometimes to give us the last, like, hoopara, like, go, woo, 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 woo. It's like the last little bit to kind of move us through to the finish line. Hi, Carlin. I feel like that's where we're at a soul's evolutionary standpoint right now. I feel like we're at a place where it's like the last, and we're right there. It's like we're living on the edge, right? We're living on the edge. We're like right there. We're like, I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. So I want you to tap into that. I want you to tap into that energy, tap into the excitement, get excited for what is and what is yet to come, because there's some really amazing things happening. Now, here's how you start to shift out of the feeling of like waiting, not waiting. Hi, Yvette. So one of the things that we talked about last week in Thrive 365, so I think many of you know Thrive 365 is our spiritual life incubator. People come in and work on manifestation and relationship and healing and intuition expansion and then spiritual growth and development. And so we just passed through this phase of reclaiming our power, all right? So yeah, bubble's about to burst, right? Exactly. I can feel that too. Like that's exactly how I feel, Josephine. I feel like the bubble is about to burst, like on many levels. I feel like many people I've been talking to, and then I'll come back to the reclaiming your power. I feel like many people I've talked to lately, a lot of people in our world, a lot of our clients, a lot of friends, even Gabriel and I, there's this feeling of like, we've been creating so much, and I feel like so many are creating so much. We've been actively, consciously creating, and it's about to burst. Like everything's about to come to fruition like that in one, like, whoosh, you know? And I feel like that's a really cool and amazing and aligned representation of the energy. Because the way manifestation really works is once you put out the signal and you're like, okay, this is what I want, this is what I'm creating, then it's about getting yourself into the vibrational space, vibrational alignment, so that everything can collide and come together very quickly. And I feel like that's what we're all in right now. From a planetary standpoint, from a restructuring, a lot of you know and have seen the craziness of what's been going on the planet over the last, you've had eyes wide open. And so we're watching and then we're creating. We're seeing what's going on and we're coming back and being like, okay, how would I rejig this? Like, how would I recreate this? I don't really enjoy that so much. So what would I create instead? And so we've been doing that. We've been doing a lot of internal, right? A lot of internal work, a lot of internal restructuring, a lot of internal refinement. And then you live and then you have fun. And then you create, and then you enjoy, and then you experience your experiences. And before you know it, and this is how the waiting, not waiting game works, is that you start to collapse time and space. And all of a sudden, before you know it, the bubble's about to burst, the energy's here, it's exciting. We're like, boo! We're ready to go. We're so ready to go. And I feel like that's where many people are at right now. Hi, Tina. Many people are so ready. We're so ready for the next evolutionary jump. We're ready for the next phase. We're ready for the next awesomeness, where all things start to align, where the external world starts to match what we've been holding space for and co-creating for many, many, many years, but very intently for the last 3 years, right? Like rewind to 3 years ago. The amount of craziness, the amount of fear, the amount of inward withdrawn energy, everybody had to recalibrate. Everybody had to pivot. Everyone had to shift. And all along that journey for the last 3 years, we've all been faced with major things. Everybody, regardless of what you believe, regardless of what side of the fence or yard you sit on, whatever you believe, whatever your focal point has been, every single person that I have talked to this in the last 3 years have been tested and moved and pushed and prodded and had to grow and face many challenges on varying levels, sometimes on opposite ends of the spectrum and pendulum. All that to say, we've all been growing. Hi, Angie. We've all been evolving. We've all been refining. And the next part of this journey now, and this is the most important thing that I really want to talk to you about. When you're living on the edge and you're feeling that energy and you're feeling that excitement, you're like, oh my gosh, the next thing is about to pop. Like the world is about to change positively, not negatively. Again, on the surface, pay attention to the surface chaos. Surface chaos is always generated by fear. Look at who's generating the fear, and then you have a choice. This is your power point. This is your choice point. What do I plug into and what do I choose? Do I feed the fear that's coming from the shadow and wherever and whoever's creating it and generating it? Or do I unplug from that and choose to plug in higher and plug into truth and plug into my power? And this is the point. Power. What we did last Tuesday, we reclaimed our power. I walked everybody through this really powerful exercise that Spirit guided me through probably about 15 years ago, when I realized when I was wanting to create, when I was wanting to actively, back then I might have said trying to create, trying to manifest. And Spirit was showing me, they're like, your energy is splayed out all over the place. Like, you've given your power away over here. You gave your power away over there. You've got energy leaking here. There's energy like just literally splaying out everywhere from all different reasons. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about it here. But the key, and this is what they guided me through, was to draw that back in. And so they guided me through this meditation, which I've been facilitating for the last 15 years now with groups. And it is so miraculous and so powerful when you reclaim your power. Now, for some of you, you know how to do that already. You've been through our programs. You've been with us. Maybe you're with us now. Go and do that meditation again. This is a great time to reclaim your power again, to reclaim your energy and your life force. This is something, if you've been with us before and you've already graduated Thrive 365, I highly recommend that you go back and do it again, because every year, sometimes every month, you are giving away your power on some level if you're not in check and you're not, and sometimes this happens. It happens, even I do it yearly, sometimes every 6 months, because I can feel when maybe I put too much emphasis on that, or maybe I've given my power away over here, or maybe I felt less than, or maybe I've had some worthiness things come up. And those are all points where we give our power away and then we forget to draw it back in. So, and for those of you that aren't familiar with this type of work, I would just start with setting the intention even. Intention is powerful. You are powerful. And I would set the intention to reclaim your power. I reclaim my power on this day. I reclaim my power on this day. I reclaim my power on this day. Now, for some of you, that might be spiritual power. Some of you, it might be heart power. Some of you, it might be solar plexus. That's where we were activating this past Tuesday, was all our solar plexus, our identity, our sun power energy within our body. And then we activated that. We activated the solar energy within our body. And so you can start with even just reclaiming. It might even be earth power. You might be reclaiming power from the earth, from earth structures and foundations that have let you down, that you've been disappointed by, that you've been shocked by, that you've been rocked by, that you've been in disbelief about. Maybe there's points of power that you've given away over there. And every time you've given away power, that's a leaking of energy. It's an excess of energy that you need to reclaim for yourself if you really want to be powerful in what you're creating and powerful in what you're consciously manifesting. Okay? You are an infinite being with ultimate power inside of you, running through you. But this is the time that we all have to claim it. Gabriel and I have been talking about creating heaven on earth for many, many years. And now Spirit is like, you really got to help everybody get up to speed. Like, you really got to tell people, if you want to create heaven on earth, bliss on earth, joy on earth, health on earth, abundance on earth, whatever that looks like for you, one of the key things is to reclaim your power. Some have given it away to government. Some have given it away to school systems. Some have given it away to parentals. Some have given it away to partners. Some have given it away to all sorts of things from the past, pains, all sorts of stuff. It's time to reclaim your power. And when you do, that feeling of living on the edge where you're like, I just feel it. Like, I just know something awesome is about to happen. Stay with that feeling. Stay grounded in that feeling. Stay anchored in that feeling. Don't let the ego rob you or pull you out. Don't let any shadow energy rob you or pull you out of that. That is your truth. And this is the time that we have to stand really powerfully in our truth. You have to stand powerfully in who you are and what you came to this planet for. This is how we're going to all create heaven on earth fast, together, and at rocket speed. It's one thing if just one of us is like, I'm creating a heaven on earth experience. Great for you. And what about everybody else? This is where we all have to come together. We all have to rise in our power. We all have to feel the excitement of what's yet to come. It will ignite you. It will fuel you. It will give you that last little bit of energy that you might need, especially if you've been aware of what's been going on in the last couple of years. You know that it can feel really exhausting. I've been there. It can feel really frustrating. Been there. It can feel really deflating. Been there. It can feel like an attack on energy, an attack on free will, an attack on choices. Been there. That part has been exhausting. And yet, I can still stand. I can still rise. I can still put a smile on my face joyfully and authentically. I can still show up powerfully because I'm not allowing any of the chaos, any of the shadow, any of the fear. And I've said this from day one, 3 years ago, almost to this day. I remember we were getting ready to fly back from Mexico. So it would have been like March 3rd, I think, actually, March 3rd or 10th, somewhere in there. And we were flying back from Mexico because we moved to Mexico for the winter. And we were coming back, and I remember the onset of all this. And some of you might remember, I went live. We were house sitting for a friend of mine in North Bay. And I said, guys, you need to trust that your spiritual self, your body, your immune system is stronger than any of this. Stronger than any fear, stronger than any fear mongering, stronger than any propaganda, stronger than any of this of what is appearing to be so. The same message is true today. Regardless of what you see next, regardless of what you hear next out there, regardless of what catastrophe has happened next, remember your power. And more than that, remember your power to create something even better. Just because there's a chaotic situation over here, you could get caught in the drama if you want. Or you can lift yourself out of that, plug back into spiritual truth and energy and your power, reclaim your power once again, stand firmly and clearly, and create what it is you actually want to see. So for example, the thing that happened down in the US, the train derailment, I was aware of that. I saw that, and I saw all the different angles from it. And a lot of what we call truthers, right? People were called many other things a couple of years ago, but now truthers, right? They said like this was kind of forecasted. They said that this was one of those things. And so when you think about the catastrophe of this, and I want you to use this as practice. Now we could get caught in the chaos of it. We could get caught in the holy, F about it. We could get caught in the, oh my God, this could potentially like destroy. There's the potential for anything to destroy. Fire can destroy things. Water, floods can destroy things. Yes, chemical things can destroy things. But then remember your power. I got to meet Dr. Emoto. Some of you are familiar with Dr. Emoto. He's the one that did the messages in water. And so he was an incredible man. He passed already. Incredible man. And he ran experiments where they would test the dirtiest polluted water in Japan. And they'd test it before. Then they'd take a small group of people down and they would pray to the water through their intention and prayer and, conscious powering up and sending energy and light. And it was very simple. And Japanese accent. And he would say, I love you, water. I thank you, water. I love you, water. I thank you, water. That's what he would say. And, and I met him. I got to hug him. I got to be with him. So I don't feel like I'm, that's how he would say it. I love you, water. I thank you, water. I love you, water. I thank you, water. I love you, water. I thank you, water. Simple prayer. Very basic. And yet, after 10 minutes, they tested it. The water got clearer. After 15 minutes, they tested it and it got even clearer. After 20 minutes, only 20 minutes, the water was almost drinkable. One of the most polluted waters in the world. So again, don't be pulled in by the chaos and the fear. Use your power. You guys, if you've ever attended one of our Thrive in Fives, we have this saying, use your mind power. Use your mind power wisely. So if you don't like what's happened there, go within, connect up, set the intention. I love you, water. I thank you, water. I love you, earth. I thank you, earth. If it's as simple as that, if you're like, I don't even know what to say, what would I pray for? What would I say? What would I do? I love you, land. I thank you, land. I love you, water. I thank you, water. I love you, earth. I thank you, earth. Come back to the basics. Come back to simplicity. When you come back to your power, it is simple. It is easy. It's not complicated at all. And it's highly transformative. And it's highly powerful. You have the power within you to transform the world, to transform chemical to clarity, to transform pollution to something powerful and positive and beautiful. You have the power to do that. You always have. And I believe when these situations come, whether it's something out there or something in here in your personal world, it's an opportunity to refine yourself even more, to refine and remember, and to power up. As we say, plug in and power up. We're here to power up. We're here to remember who and what we are. So don't feed into the chaos if you can. Let go of that if you can. If there's anything that anyone has learned over the last 3 years, do not play into the fear. Do not feed the fear. It will rob you of your power. It will steal you of your joy. It will take your creative life force energy and your conscious power to create, and it will make more chaos. That's what it will do. So you get to choose. You get to choose today. You get to choose now. You get to choose tomorrow. You get to choose the next day. Reclaim your power. If you want to learn more about how to do this in a very beautiful, efficient way, if you want to have access to that meditation that we did, send me a private message and let me know. Say, yes, I want to power up. Yes, I want to reclaim my power. And I will message you and we'll find a way to make that happen for you, because it's a really powerful thing that we all need to start doing now. Hi, Lisa. We all need to start reclaiming our power. We need to start unplugging from fear, unplugging from chaos. There's been enough of that. Can we all just agree? There has been enough of that. Yes? There's been enough of that. There's been enough chaos. There's been enough fear. There's been enough fear mongering. There's been enough fear injections. There's been enough. 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 And as I do that, I feel like I'm clearing the energy. There's enough of that now. There's enough. Now we need to rise up. We need to reclaim our power. We need to power back up again. We need to remember how powerful we each are. We need to unhook from the fear. We got to start living on the edge, and we got to live it better than what we have been. We got to live on the edge of excitement. We got to live on the edge of what can I create? We got to live on the edge of what can I do better? We got to live on the edge of what can I clean up? Right? Exactly. Yeah, you got it, Josephine. Exactly. We're bringing in the love now. We're bringing in a higher vibration. So access the excitement. There's a lot of really positive things that are happening. It's just, if your view is over on the chaos and fear, then it's going to feel like that. But if you take your attention off of that, come back to the excitement, come back to the joy, I can tell you there's so many amazing things that are actually happening. Let's do it, right? Exactly. And how we get to keep doing this is you keep reclaiming your power. Because as we reclaim our power, as we step into excitement and joy, I feel like I got to stand up for this. As we expand our joy, we will be tested. There will be challenges. There will be opportunities every single day that will potentially pull us out of sync and pull us out of our power. And this is where you have to choose again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's like on repeat. But the more that you do that, you power up, you get stronger. You're able to stand in it. I feel like that's why I needed to stand right now. You're able to stand in it fully. And you become it. And this is where the conscious, powerful creations that are streaming through you, that are meant to come through and out onto the planet, this is where they get to happen now. So celebrate it, because we are living on the edge. We're living on the edge of some greatness and some amazing times, but you got to claim it and you got to reclaim your power. And again, if you want to learn how to reclaim your power and you want access to this meditation that we did or that I did on Tuesday, just send me a private message. I'll figure out a way to get it to you. And I'm just sending you all so much love and so much appreciation. I love you. I'm excited. We're living on the edge, baby, and we're doing this powerfully. So reclaim your power. It's time. All right. Have the most exceptional day today. Mwah! I love you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness, yeah.
Woo!
Woo!